Hello and good day, everyone. My name is Abdulakim Idris Abdulakim, and today I will be talking about 10 rules of undergraduate research. And this basically is an independent work of my course in the master's as organization and planning of scientific research. So I'm going to be focusing on the 10 rules expected to follow by an undergraduate student. So stick to the video and we move forward, okay? So now point number one. So basically in point number one, what you are going to take note of is to start the research early, because starting the research early is very important to have a quality research. So starting the research early will help you in meeting up with deadlines. It could be publication deadline, it could be grading of your research deadline, it could be conference deadlines, and so on. So this will lead me to the point number two, which is next. So point number two is for you to ask questions. So starting the research early will give you the room to ask many questions. You can ask the question from your professor or your supervisor. You can ask from your colleague students that are having more experience in research. You can also check the internet for some questions in some Q&A session in some websites and so on. So asking questions is another point which is very important. Okay. Point number three. Okay, point number three basically is for you to plan your research. Planning your research will help you to identify a specific timing for your research, especially if your research is a practical based research. So you can plan your research. You know when you're going to do the writing, you know when you're going to do the experiment, you know when you're going to do the data analysis, and so on. So planning your research is very important for you to have a quality research, which is going to lead me to the fourth point. And so this is point number four, which involves you citing a good source for your research. Citing a good source of your research simply means you cite a very good literature, a good journal from a reliable source. And citation simply means you are acknowledging an information that is not yours. Try to paraphrase and try to cite a more recent research to have a quality research. And also use an appropriate standard. It could be APA, it could be Harvard, depending on what your school requirement is. So that is going to lead me to the fifth point. So now the fifth point is basically for you to collaborate or work smartly. Work smartly if you're the only one doing the research. Collaborate smartly if you're in a group of researchers. Maybe the research is in a group. So this basically means you have to work and divide the task effectively. Some are going to be in charge of a particular task, like maybe the experimental aspect. Some are going to be in charge of other parts, like going to the field or making some analysis and carrying out some tasks. So this is going to make the work easy. It's just like a basic division of labor in order to have an effective. Everyone have their strength and everyone have their weakness. Focus on your strength individually in order to facilitate the speed of the research. So we move to the next point. So the point number six now is for you to keep the work simple. Keep it simple, because you're trying to conduct a research to solve a problem. Don't try to create a problem. Keep it simple so that anyone that come across your research can easily understand the problem you're trying to solve. So you're trying to avoid jargons, try to beat around the bush. You go straight to the point and try to use simple terms. Don't deviate away from the context of the research, because you have a planned objective. So try to make the research in as simple as possible. Keep the language simple, keep the work easy to understand, and keep everything smooth. So try to keep it simple. It is very important for a quality research. So the next point is point number seven. So now point number seven. Point number seven basically is for you to use a reliable source. Using a reliable source is very important for a quality research. You don't just go to a random website that is not reliable or that is not a good database. You know, we talked about using a good source to avoid plagiarism. To ensure that you use an important source that is scientifically proven, or source that has been used by several researchers, that are reliable as possible. So you don't want to go to a random website where people just make a comment and you take that as a point for your research. It's going to affect the quality of your research. Try to use a Scopus index journal. Try to use a reliable textbooks that are as recent as possible. So this is very important for your quality research. This is going to move me to the next point. So our next point here now is going to be proper editing. You edit ruthlessly because in proper editing you try as much as possible to remove things that are not important. You remove things that are too repeating in the research. You remove things that are not adding value to the research. So this is very important for you to have a streamlined research that aligns with the objective of your research. You try to trim the content and you try to keep it as simple as possible. So the next point. So our point number 9, which is the second to the last point, is try to meet deadlines, because I said it from the beginning that you have to start your research early. If you don't start your research early, you will not be able to meet deadline. So meeting deadline is very important for you to have a quality research. So deadlines can be set for several purposes. It could be that maybe your supervisor or your project is being subjected to publication. It could be that your deadline is set for your project to be graded. So meeting up with deadline is very important. Just like I said in the beginning of this video as a whole is an assignment. There's a deadline set for this assignment. If I don't meet up with the deadline of this assignment, some marks are going to be removed. So you don't want to delay your research in order not to meet up with a particular deadline. So we move next to the final point, which is, so finally the last point is learn from feedbacks. So learn from feedback simply means, definitely there's no perfect research. Your research can be perfect, so there's always a room for people to criticize your research. So you have to learn from these and focus on working on improving on your future research. Try to listen to experienced individuals, try to listen to correction from your supervisors, try to listen to observations when you are having a presentation, and so on. So this is going to go a long way in shaping the way you approach research in the future in order to work on correcting these mistakes. So try to listen to feedback, try to learn from it, and try to implement it in your future research. So this is going to, so we have come to the end of the video. So we've discussed about 10 rules of undergraduate research. So basically it focuses on how an undergraduate student is expected to focus on important things in order to have a quality research. So this is a video that was created in order to encourage the undergraduate students to work on having a quality research and try to avoid things that are going to delay their research, things that are going to become a problem for their research. So thank you very much for listening. See you in the next one.